This is a striped blanket, and the colors change at the beginning of a row, which is normally not my favorite place to change color. If I were going to choose a place to change color, I would choose to do so where there is already a visual break, which to me would be right about here. That would be a great place. I'd have a line here I could hide it, a line here I could hide it. It would give me a lot of places to hide it. Also, this is a blanket for my 5-year-old grandson, which means it's going to get a lot of wear and tear. He's already very excited about it. Yesterday, he peeked into my knitting bag and said, "The blue!" He was so excited. So I try to make it durable. I want it to be as durable as possible. You can already tell that the stitches are not quite the same tension here at the beginning where I changed colors. It's kind of a thing. They're going to want to come loose. All you have to do to tighten this up is to tidy them up. So this yellow stitch seems to be the worst. And it is coming down here. The second stitch looks like it's also loosened up a little bit. So I'm just going to tug it a little bit and then move this a little. And now they're a little closer in size. The green ones don't seem to have as much of a problem, but the yellow definitely seem to want to do that. And now I'm going to tie a square knot. For those of you who were not scouts or had dads who were outdoorsmen, I'll give you a demonstration. You have a tail on the right, in this case it's yellow. I have a tail on the left, in this case it's green. I'm going to take the right tail, I'm going to put it over the left tail. And then I'm going to take that tail through the middle so they have traded places, right over left, and I'm going to pull it very snug up against my knitting. I don't want to pull it so snugly against my knitting that I take these stitches and pull them flat. I want to leave them with all of their texture. Now I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to do left over right, and again up through the middle, so they have traded places. And the reason that this is called a square knot is as I pull this closed, it ties a little square right there. The second side of the knot you can really pull tight. Now, what do I do with them? They're tied in a knot. They're not going to come undone, but I don't want them just trimmed off because, again, I'm that person that everybody brings them to when things go bad and the knots come undone and the unraveling starts to happen. And this is a blanket for a child. I suspect he's going to drag it everywhere he goes, and I hope for it to last him for years. If you look at your knitting carefully, you can see that the stitches will travel in an angle. If I look up here, you can start to see them like this, right? I want to hide the green in the green and the yellow in the yellow so that they are inconspicuous. So here's a previous one. You can see I hid the orange in the orange and the yellow in the yellow. I've threaded the green, so we're going to start with green. This is Berroco Comfort. It is an acrylic nylon blend of yarn, and what it is splitty and slick. Not my favorite, but it is a good yarn. For me, it's very splitty and, but you know, kids project, it's great. You want to take your tapestry needle, and you notice I only caught 2 or 3 plies of this multi-plied fiber. I want to catch the backs, 2 or 3 plies of each stitch up an angle across this line of stitches to where the visual break ends, or, you know, the edge of the border. About an inch, about half the length of my tapestry needle. And I'm going to pull that through. And then I'm going to run it back beside but not the same as where I just came. So right back beside, again skewering just part of the stitch, sandwiching it in between the layers of the yarn, and pull it through. Do not pull this bend so tight that it puckers, because as this is used, that will sink down in. If you don't leave it enough room for moving, it will pucker. And then because this is so slick, and because I am related to people who are the worst on the planet to their knitwear, I'm going to do something I never normally do, and I'm going to go back across the first line one more time. So I have gone up and down and back again because I don't trust him. He's rough. I normally do not do that, but I feel like that will be a little more secure for him. Now I'm going to trim it off. Please watch where the tips of your tapestry scissors are going and don't clip your knitting. I'm going to do that one more time over here. Now, if this was flat knitting, I would totally do something different. If these were the same color and I was just adding a new ball of yarn, I probably wouldn't be as picky about which skein goes where because it's all the same color. If you're doing intarsia, you don't have a choice. They almost never can go behind their own color. But I always do this on the wrong side. Not that a blanket truly has much of a right side, wrong side to it, but I do always do it on the wrong side. Try to be consistent because it's really disappointing to get your Afghan finished and proudly handed over and have one tail be wound in on the right side and get the, what's this, Grandma? Oh, where Grandma signed it, that's what it is. All right, back across here, and then for the super slicky crazy stuff, one more pass, because I'm a basically insecure human. There we go. Now I'm going to trim them off. And that's how I would deal with colors that change at the end of the row.